Activate family, Coach Iain back with you for another exciting class. A few announcements before we get started. First of all, I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. I know some things are starting to kind of open back up, and I know I'm getting pretty excited about it. I don't know about you guys, but as long as everyone's staying safe and healthy. Second of all, before I forget, because I always seem to do that, today's water sponsor, again, Carlsbad alkaline water. It's pretty good. Comes in quite a bit. Tastes even better too, to be honest. And then last but not least, before we get started, just a couple of supplies if we have them around to kind of use. One is a shirt or a towel. I just have just a regular hand towel here. If you guys have a clean piece of laundry or like a bed sheet or something you guys want to roll up into sort of like a ball or a cylinder, I guess this would kind of be, just roll it up. And then also we want to have, if you guys have a wall or something to prop our foot up on, because there will be an exercise or two today that we will be using that for. If we don't have that, that's okay. Obviously we can make do without, and I can show you kind of how to make exercises easier and harder. So without further ado, today's class is a functional class. Our focus is on our spine mobility and corrective posture. So right, when we're in our functional days, we want to be able to, well, it says it right in the word, right? We want to be able to function as well and as effectively as possible, even if it's just walking around during the day. And a lot of us desk jobs, I don't know if you guys saw our performance specialist and DPT Travis's little workout video. He was talking about corrective posture as well, and how our shoulders at a lot of desk jobs can be protracted in, right? Our neck kind of sags because we don't have those muscles in the back to be quite as tight and pull us back into that neutral position, right? So we want to get out of this kind of bent over sort of look so we can stand up straight. I'm just going to show you a few exercises today that'll help with that. So without further ado, we're going to start with a regular warm-up, except we're going to kind of take it a little bit easier today as opposed to most days, just as far as, right, that corrective posture. It's not going to be as vigorous on the body. So we're just going to start with some good mornings, right? Sit in that hip hinge, sort of athletic position. Feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to go 10, dropping that chest to the floor, back down. Going to stretch out those hamstrings a little bit. Last one here. And after that 10, I'm going to keep them wide like this, maybe a little bit wider, spread those feet out, and we're just going to open up those hips. We're just going to swing it around about 10 times each side. And the more and more we feel comfortable, the more and more we can start kind of moving our upper body. We want to feel sort of our hip flexors and our abductors and extensors kind of opening up around that ball and socket joint. All right, let's go the other way here. Whatever we do to one side, we want to do the other. Symmetry is huge. Couple more. And good. Let's come back together, shake it out if you need to. We'll go right into some knee hugs. Go 5 each leg, 10 total. And 10. Next, right and do a kick with a reach, right? So we're kicking with our right leg, opposite hands touching our foot with that straight leg. As we come back down, touch both hands to the floor. I'm gonna go 10 each side here. And last one, let's switch legs here. Two more. Last one. Perfect. Next, let's drop into a leg cradle squat. We'll go 5 each leg for 10 total. Crossing that leg over. We're just gonna sit down into that chair pose. Whoop. Nice little external rotation in our hips. Just opening up those glutes a little bit, stretching them out. Don't worry if you lose balance like I just did. Sometimes it takes a few tries. Get that coordination right. So one more each side here. Perfect. Next, drop down to one knee, right into that hip flexor stretch. Right, we're not pushing through our low back, pushing through our hips. We'll go 5 going forward, rock it forward, 3, 4, and 5. After 5, add a little twist with it, just to exaggerate that hip flexor stretch. After that twist, we're gonna twist the other way, right? Get that medial side in that groin area. And over the top, the lateral side. Switch legs here. And 5, add that twist. 5, we go the other way here. And over the top. And 5. So staying in this position, right? We're gonna go a lunge with a reach. We're gonna work on that T-spine and that lumbar spine mobility. So staying in that half kneel, we're gonna drop our right hand, or I should say maybe our right forearm down kind of where our foot is. If you can touch it on the ground, that's even better. Get as close as you can. You wanna open up those hips, right? And as we do that, we're gonna reach up to the sky, starting with our left hand. Switch hands, reach up to the sky with the other, okay? That's 1, we're gonna do 5 each side. Really try to get that rotation there. Here we go. Last one here. Next, we're gonna add our little piriformis stretch with our T-spine reach through, right? So we're gonna cross our right leg over our left, almost like we were just doing that figure 4, standing up in that squat position. Except we're gonna be on the ground here, and as we do this, we're gonna reach through, starting with our left hand as far as we can. Back up to the sky, we're gonna go 5 each side. If you notice, maybe your speakers are a bit loud and I'm breathing a little bit too hard, but it really does help as we breathe in and And as we breathe out, coming through that stretch, increases that range of motion. Last one here. Good. Next thing, in this position, let's go right into those fire hydrants. We're gonna activate those glutes just a little bit here with 10 each side. And 10, switch sides here. After those 10, right into those pelvic tilts. Now with those pelvic tilts, we want to use pretty much just our pelvis in this situation, right? We're not going to use our mid or our high back like we usually do because we want to really open up those hips. If we think of our pelvis almost like a cereal bowl, right? We want to dip it front and back. And how we do that is as we dip it forward, right? If we're dumping the bowl forward, we're really extending our low back, sticking our butt up into the air. And as we come up to dip the bowl backwards in that posterior tilt, right, we suck in our stomach to our spine. Okay, so I don't know if you can kind of see in my back, but you should see a little ridge or a little divot right here where my low back meets my butt. And as we go into that posterior tilt, we're squeezing our glutes and we're bringing our stomach into our spine, trying not to use too much of our mid-back or our thoracic spine there. Let's do 10. And one more. Hopefully you guys have a bit of a sweat on by now. Get up onto our feet. We'll go into a bit of a dynamic warm up, just a little bit. We'll go high knees to start, 20 total. Here we go. And switch. We'll go into heel touches or butt kickers. And last but not least, let's drop right into those squat touches to the ground, right? And touches down to the ground, dropping those our pelvis down to the ground, opening up our legs, back up, feet together, touching our other hand. So 10 total. Perfect. Grab a quick sip if you need it. And we'll hop right into our first series. Now, those of you who have joined in on my sessions before know that I love to do core first because I believe that activating our core really makes our limbs really work a lot harder, right? Because at the end of the day, all that power comes from right here. So we want to activate our core to make sure that we're having a strong, basically our extremities are working just as hard. So starting with our core, we'll start with some plank up downs, right? In a high push-up position, feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. And we're gonna drop down into that plank and back up. Now as we do this, maybe you can't see from this angle, but my hips aren't moving, right? As we come down, we don't want to be swiveling back and forth because as much as this is a shoulder workout, we're really working that lateral side of our abs, right? Of our core, our pillar strength. So we want to stay nice and still and nice and steady. After our plank up downs, we're gonna do 12 of those. We're gonna drop right onto our back. I'll show you from this angle. We're gonna go right into straight leg circles. So our legs are straight out. As we go around, we're gonna go 6. Think of your feet or your legs moving as clock hands, right? 6 counterclockwise, 6 clockwise. Good. When we're done with that, our third exercise, we're gonna go straight into leg crunches. So straight leg crunches, right? We're gonna take out that hip flexion aspect that we usually do. So our legs gonna be straight on the ground. Really use that rectus abdominis here. Hands behind our back as we come up and do a straight leg crunch. We're gonna do 10 reps of that. So 12 total of the plank up downs, 6 of our straight leg circles each side, so 12 total, and then 10 of our straight leg crunches. Here we go. One more. Top right into those leg circles. Two. Four. 5. And 6. Switch weight. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's go right into those straight leg crunches. 12. Right back for those plank up downs. That's done 1 round. Let's go for 3 here. Here we go. One more. And right into those straight leg circles. Four, 5, and 6. Give yourself a second if you need it. Let's go the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 12 crunches. And 12. Quick sip if we need it. Let's hop right in for that last series. Or sorry, that last round, excuse me. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Right for the straight leg circles. Three, 4, 5, and 6. Rest a moment if you need it. And we're going to go counterclockwise here. Or whatever direction you started with, we're going to go the opposite way. 4, 5, last one, and 6. Let's finish off those crunches. We're done with that first series. Here we go for 12. Grab a towel and wipe off real quick. All right. Now that our core is activated, we're gonna move right into our second series, which is a foundation series. We're gonna go for 2 rounds here. Okay, so we're gonna slow it down just a little bit. First, we're gonna start off with a squat and rotation. We're working in that transverse plane. As we're moving, probably gonna feel maybe a little bit in our low back, because we're incorporating our arms as well. But it's not just gonna be a regular squat. We are gonna start with our right foot forward just a little bit to really load our left leg. We're gonna start with 10 reps, then we're gonna switch it up, vice versa, load our right leg with our left foot forward. So, squat looks like this, right? We're in that tandem stance, right leg just slightly, maybe 2 or 3 inches above our right, or above our left, sorry. As we come down into that squat, we're not rotating our knees out. Try to keep your knees over top of our toes the entire time, but we are rotating our torso, right? So everything from our hips all the way up to pretty much our head, right? We're gonna be rotating to the left. As we come up, we're shooting our hips by really extending through that glute, our left glute, and we're reaching to the top right side. So think of it as we're crossing our body, coming down to the bottom left, as we come up to the top right, okay? 10, then we're gonna switch to the other side. Same exact principles, except we're reaching with our right, starting with our right, reaching to our left, and then we're gonna go right into regular bird dogs, okay? So on all 4s, and as we come out on our bird dogs, remember we're gonna be in that quadruped position. Same thing we were working on with those pelvic tilts, except we're gonna keep our spine, see how it's in a divot right now? We really wanna keep it in that neutral position. So really try to keep your low spine in that neutral position as we extend out. Your body instinctively wants to really extend that low spine. So we're really gonna push our belly in to really activate that core, okay? That'll be 5 reps on each side, looking like this. All the way in, 2, 3, all the way to 5, and then we'll switch sides for 5 for a total of 10. Only 2 rounds on this one. Let's start with the squat. Here we go. Nine and 10. Switch up that stance a little bit. Notice my foot stance here. Here we go. Nine and 10. Let's go right down for those bird dogs. Again, we really want to suck in our belly to that spine to really make that neutral lumbar spine support. Here we go. Done with 1 round. Quick breather if you need it. And we'll drop right back to those squats. All right, here we go. Left foot slightly behind our right, maybe 2 or 3 inches. Again, doing that crossing pattern. If we can, now we're starting to understand the movement. Really getting that full range of motion. If you can sink a little bit further down, do so. We don't want to curve our back though, right? Push those feet up, vice versa. Drop to the right, up with the left. Seven, 8, 9, last one, and 10. All right, last set of those bird dogs. Here we go. Switch it up. All right, finished off with that foundation round. Wipe off with that towel. Again, a lot of that functional movement, whenever just moving in one plane of motion, right? Whenever just walking forward, whenever just stepping to the side, or twisting for that matter. A lot of the time, we're moving in different ranges of motion, funky places, and sometimes that's how some of those kind of issues come up. So it's important that we're keeping all those muscles in all those different planes of motion really pliable and really active. So moving on to the next series. Our series 3, we'll be doing our shoulders and a little bit of thoracic and cervical musculature work. So just that kind of upper spine, the upper back area. I'm going to start with a supine neck press and a shoulder raise. Some of you may call it a different name. To each their own, but it looks a lot like this, right? Actually, I'm going to need this towel. So if you guys have that shorter towel I was talking about, we'll fold it kind of hot dog style, and we'll roll it up here. Now, as we have it, that's where we're going to place the back of our head, right on that towel. Just cues us to really push in. What we're going to do is we're going to drive the back of our head into the ground, right, to really stabilize those intrinsic or those internal muscles in the back of our neck, really strengthen them to correct that posture. At the same time, we're going to be abducting our shoulders all the way up, all the way down, okay? All the way up and all the way down. The entire time we're contracting our head, okay? We're right here. And as we pull our shoulders in, we want to bring our shoulder blades in as well. Try to keep our entire back up against the mat from our shoulders all the way down to our hips. So again, we need to squeeze through our low stomach to do that. And now, we do a total of 10. Then we're going to flip over onto our stomach, right? We can use this again as sort of a pad, or if you wanted to use your hand instead, what we're going to do is really it's called a multifidus stretch. So multifidus is just a network of muscles that connect each vertebrae together. It can be the result of a lot of back pain. What we want to do is really activate those intrinsic back muscles by really correcting our pelvis again. So similar to that anterior tilt or that posterior tilt, where we're bringing our pelvis up and really making that neutral low spine, we're going to be doing the same thing on the ground, moving our arm up and down, okay? So we're just reversing the other side. So we're lying prone, and we're going to be on our stomach in that supine position. So 10 and 10. We're going to go for 3 rounds of this. Here we go. The towel is more for just a cue to really push that head back into that mat that you guys have wherever you guys are lying down. Bring our chin to our neck while we're doing it. And we'll start with our arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's flip it on over. I'm gonna use my hand on this one. Again, squeeze through our glutes and really suck in our stomach to get into that posterior tilt. We're going to raise that hand up and down. This isn't really a shoulder exercise. We don't have to worry about doing it bilaterally or working both sides. We're just going to go 10 times. And 10. Move on to our second round here. Oh, don't knock over your water. Flip it on over. Again, want to bring that spine up, right? We don't want to be really slouching and having that divot right here in our low spine. So really make that neutral spine in our low back by sucking in our stomach, squeezing our glutes. Go for 10. If our arm feels too fatigued because we've been working that one side, we can always switch to the right side. Yeah, we really want to activate that spine, the multifidus structure. So, on to that last round. Here we go. Again, drive on the back of our head into the ground or into that mat that we have. And at the same time, bringing our chin to our neck, chin tuck, and keeping our spine on the ground. Flip it on over for the last one. Use my right arm this time. Let's go one more here. Stretch it on out if we need it. And we'll move right into our third or our fourth series. So moving back to that foundation, and we've kind of given our hips and our knees a bit of a break. First thing we're gonna do is go right into hip bridges. You guys have seen these hip bridges, that instead of regular ones, our feet are actually gonna be together. Hips are gonna be externally rotated, which just means our knees are gonna be away from each other. As we come up, still bring our hips up to the sky. We're just gonna activate our hamstrings just a little bit more, a little bit on that lateral side as well. Okay, even helps if we have our heels on the ground and our toes in the air. So 10 of those hip bridges, and then we're gonna go right into a single leg. This is where the wall comes in handy. Right into a single leg rotation against the wall. So that looks like this, right? In that hip hinge position, right from that athletic stance, chest over top of our toes. We're gonna drop whatever foot you feel comfortable with first. For me, it's my left. Put it up against the wall. So we're balancing on that right leg. Hands are gonna be across our chest like so. And we're gonna be rotating back and forth. For you golfers out there, now that it is golfing season, this is a perfect exercise to work on our stability on one leg, and at the same time, that rotation in our mid and low back, right? You wanna be slinging that ball 300, 400 yards. Maybe not that far, but you know what I mean. So starting with that, we'll start with the hip bridges here with 10 total. Again, a further momentum arm makes it a lot more difficult, right? So moving our heels further away from our body. So 10 total. After that 10, I don't know if I told you guys the rep count. We're going to go 5 on each leg here. So again, start with whatever leg you feel comfortable with. It might take a second to kind of get used to that balance. Left leg back on the wall. Make sure it's flat on the wall. Arms crossed, right? Try to keep your knee from moving, right? We want to really activate our core and our posterior back, right? After 5, we're going to switch sides. And the more and more comfortable we feel with it, as we turn our torso, our head comes with it, right? That makes it just a little bit more difficult. If that exercise is too difficult and you say, well, Ian, I'm having a ton of back pain. That's okay. Because just like we can make exercises harder, we can also make them easier, right? So if that's the case, then we're on our knees, double in our double kneeling position. Arms right here into that hip hinge, and we just go back and forth right here, right? So switch legs here, look at that side. Let's go for 5. After that 5, 1 round, and for round 2 here. I'm gonna go for 3 total. We're done with those 10, right back up. Get yourself set. For those 5, switch legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 10 more hip bridges here. Oh. Head on up here. 5 more. Those 5. There we go. And we're done with that series. Wipe off with the towel. And we'll move into our last series. Now, usually I end with a conditioning series, but since today kind of goes along with that corrective posture, a little bit of rehabilitative, just because it's not too vigorous, not too demanding on the body. We're gonna end with a core strengthening. Because at the end of the day, core strengthening is what kind of keeps our posture in line, right? If you don't have a strong base, strong pillar core, you're not going to have a strong anything else. It's like you're building a house. That being said, we're going to go for 2 rounds here. A lateral plank, right? Going to work on that transverse a little bit, those external obliques. Transverse plank with a reach through. We go 5 each side. Into side V-ups, right? So regular V-ups, we're on our butt. And we use our butt as a fulcrum coming up, and our body makes that V, side V-ups. Starting on our right side, we're just gonna hang out on that right glute. As we come up, we're still touching our left arm to our legs as much as we can, right? That just works that lateral aspect a little bit. Those external obliques, internal obliques. So, without further ado, let's start that lateral plank. This will be our last series. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Switch it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Staying on this side. Those V-ups. Now, if the 5 isn't demanding enough, you may have noticed I just did 10 there. You can always up the rep count, really feel that burn, get that work in there. So I'm gonna go 10, but we want at least 5 to 10. And 10. One round. Let's finish off with one more round. Here we go. Side planks. Let's go 10 each side. 20 total. Make it a good Thursday, right? After that 10, switch to the other side. And 10. All right. Staying on our side here. Need a second just to breathe. Go for it. We'll finish off 10 each side of those side V-ups. Again, find that kind of position on starting on our left glute. Really angle yourself. You can stick your left arm out just for support so you're not rolling. Switch sides here. And 10. All right. That concludes all of our series here. Kind of wrap it up with just a little bit of stretch. All right, nothing too vigorous. Starting on our hands and knees since we're already here. We're gonna go into that child's pose yoga position. All right, so we're gonna drop our butt to our heels. Hands are straight out in front of us, or some people like to call it the prayer stretch. And just drop your head to the floor. Sink for a minute. A few seconds, sorry. Over to the left. Get those lats really stretched out. Bit of your oblique there. And we'll switch, going to the right. Straight out in front. Dropping our hips to the ground. We're gonna come up to the sky, up to the ceiling. On my gut, that lateral side. To the left. All right. That concludes our functional class today, guys. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. Join us again. I'll be back here Saturday morning at 8:15 for a core impaler class. Have a great rest of the day, guys. We'll see you then.